Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Yasam Tato Jaya Udirayet Nastra Pareshu Abdreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishliki. Hare Krishna. We are reading from Hare Krishna. We are reading from the 8th canto, chapter 7, entitled Lord Shiva Saves the Universe. And today we will read text from text 34 up to text 39. So I'm just going to do Sanskrit translation myself, and then we can do 39 together. So this is text 34. Tattasya te sad astuta paratapa tattasya te sad astuta o parata parasya na. I'm just going to do myself. Nagya svarupa gamane prapavanti bhumna brahmadaya kimuta samstavane vayamtu tatsarga sarga vishaya apishakti matram. Translation. Even personalities like Lord Brahma and other demigods cannot understand your position, for you are beyond the moving and non-moving creation. Since no one can understand you in truth, how can one offer you prayers? It is impossible. As far as we are concerned, we are creatures of Brahma's creation. Under the circumstances, therefore, we cannot offer you adequate prayers. But as far as our ability allows, we have expressed our feelings. Text 35. Etat param prapashamo na param te maheshvara mridanya hi lokasya vyaktiste avyakta karmana. O greatest of all rulers, your actual identity is impossible for us to understand. As far as we can see, your presence brings flourishing happiness to everyone. Beyond this, no one can appreciate your activities. We can see this much and nothing more. Perfect. When the demigods offered these prayers to Lord Shiva, their inner purpose was to please him so that he would rectify the disturbing situation created by the halaha was poison, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 7:20. Kamastastai jnana prapardante anyadevata. When one worships demigods, this is certainly because of deep-rooted desire. He once fulfilled by the mercy of those demigods. People are generally attached to the worship of demigods for some motive. Text 36. Shri Shuka Vacha Tadviksha Vyasanam Tasam Kripaya Krishya Piditaha Sarvabhuta Surit Deva Idam Aha Satim Priyam. Shri Shukadev Goswami continued, Lord Shiva is always benevolent toward all living entities. When he saw that the living entities were very much disturbed by the poison, which was spreading everywhere, he was very compassionate. Thus he spoke to his eternal consort, Sati, as follows. Text 37. Shri Shiva Uvacha Ahobata Bhavani Etat Prajanam Pashavashasam Kshirodamattanot Bhutad Kalakutad Upastitam. Lord Shiva said, My dear Bhavani, just see how all these living entities have been placed in danger because of the poison produced from the churning of the ocean of milk. Ashamprana parisunam videyam abhyamhime etavan hi prabho arto yadina paripalanam. It is my duty to give protection and safety to all living entities struggling for existence. Certainly, it is duty of the matter to protect it is duty of the master to protect his suffering dependents. Text 39. So we can, if you can repeat after me. Pranay Svai Pranina Panti Pranay Svai Pranani Pranay Svai Pranina Panti Sadava Kshana Bangura Sandakshana Bangur Sanda Avaksha Bangurai Bada Vaireshu Bhuteshu Bada Vaireshu Bhuteshu Mohiteshu Atma Mayaya Mohiteshu Atma Mayaya Prananai Swaprana Prananai Swapranina Panti sorry. Oh, start again. Pranay Svai Pranina Panti Sadavakshana Bangurai Badavareshu Bhuteshu Mohiteshu Atmamaya Prananai Svai Pranay Panti Sadvahakshana Bangurai Badavareshu Bhuteshu Mohiteshu Atmamaya Prananai Svai Pranay Panti Sadavakshana Bangura Badavareshu Bhuteshu Mohiteshu Atmamaya. Bolo. Prananai Svai Pranaya Panti Sandavakshana Bangurai Badavareshu Bhuteshu Bodhihe Atmamayaya Prananai Svai Pranina Panti Sandavakshana Bangure Badavareshu Bhuteshu Viteshu Atmamayaya Pranay Svai Pranay Panti Sandavakshana Bangure Bandavareshu Bhuteshu Mohiteshu Atmamayaya Pranay Svai Pranina Panti Sandavakshana Bangure Badavareshu Bhuteshu Mohiteshu Atmamayaya Pranay by lives Svai they own Pranina other living entities Panti protect Sadhava devotees Kshana Bangura temporary Badavaireshu unnecessarily engage in animosity Bhuteshu onto living entities Mohiteshu, bewildered. Atmamayaya, by the external energy of the Lord. Translation. People in general, being bewildered by the illusionary energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are always engaged in animosity toward one another. But devotees, even at the risk of their own temporary lives, try to save them. Please repeat. People in general, being bewildered by the illusionary energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are always engaged in animosity toward one another. But devotees, even at the risk of their own temporary lives, try to save them. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This is the characteristic of a Vaishnava, para dukhi. A Vaishnava is always unhappy to see see the conditioned souls unhappy. Otherwise, he would have no business teaching them how to become happy. In materialistic life, people must certainly engage in activities of animosity. Materialistic life is therefore compared to samsara davana, a blazing forest fire that automatically takes place. Lord Shiva and his followers in the Parampara system try to save people from this dangerous condition of materialistic life. This is the duty of devotees following the principles of Lord Shiva and belonging to the Rudra Sampradaya. There are 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas, and the Rudra Sampradaya is one of them because Lord Shiva, Rudra, is the best of the Vaishnavas. Vaishnavanam yatha sambhu. Indeed, as well as we shall see, Lord Shiva drank all the poison for the benefit of humanity. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jananjana Sharakaya Chakshurminitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapita Yena Bhutare Swayam Rupam Kadamayam Dadati Dantikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Vrishaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine, Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtutate Shitarine, Vanchakalpatru Bhishcha, Kripa Sindhu Evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. So as we can see, Prajapati is praying to Lord Shiva for the help, and they are admitting right away that they are actually not qualified. They're actually not qualified to offer any prayers, and it's impossible because these activities of Krishna is beyond our conception and understanding. So in the same mood, I pray. I also have nothing much to say, but I pray to all the Sambhu Vaishnavas and Prabhupada that I can at least say something and glorify Bhagavatam. So that's the right mood of a prayer, because as we can see, I took some time yesterday, so I read all the translations starting from the 8th canto up to this point. And it was really nice because then it kind of gave the whole picture of what's going on in the canto. And so throughout this 8th canto up to this point, there's been a lot of prayers that different devotees have been performing. So it started by Swayambhuva Manu. He was sitting in the forest with his wife, and he was glorifying Lord. And there was a point where Rakshasas and the different asuras and demons, they came along and wanted to satisfy their belly by eating the Swayambhuva Manu. But because Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu is in everyone's heart, he saw that this is going to happen, and so he appeared as a Yagyapati and killed all the demons. Then, as we go further, we can see the king of elephants, Gajendra. He was also he was in a distressed situation, and after giving out everything, fighting for himself, he understood that the only shelter is Lord, and so he started reciting these beautiful prayers that he remembered from his previous life as King Indrajuman, right? And then and at the end of the prayers, Lord Narayana appeared and killed severed the head of the crocodile and delivered the King Gajendra. And then as we go further on, demigods also in distress situation because demons headed by Kimbali, they are very much pushing to demigods. So they see that it's a bad situation. So we gotta start taking shelter of the Lord. And as we can see, this is sort of like a natural inclination of devotees. That's what they do. They when things start to go bad, to understand what the true shelter is actually is Lord. And as you can see, these different devotees, they offer different prayers in order to please the Lord, and in order basically to take shelter of the Lord. So it's a quite of art, I would say, to perform nice prayer, because we can also see the Prajapatis saying to the Lord Shiva that they're not quite qualified. That it's quite impossible to completely glorify you, and so they say at the end of this text 34, they're saying that it says that we cannot offer you any proper prayer, but as far as our ability allows, we have expressed our feelings. So oftentimes we obviously want the best for Krishna, but in our capacity, we maybe won't have that many material things, or maybe knowledge or education to offer to Krishna or offer prayer, but we can do our best. We can, as Prajapati say, we can express our feelings at least. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that if you offer me with love, fruit, water, leaf, flower, I will certainly accept. And so it's not a matter of like how much we offer materially, because Krishna is Atma Rama, right? He's self-satisfied. He's complete. And so materially, Krishna doesn't really need anything, but he's very much moved by the devotees' endeavor to please him. So he reciprocates, and as we see from all these three examples that I mentioned in 8th canto, is that when devotees take shelter of Krishna, then naturally Krishna will protect them, right? And in Bhagavad Gita it says also that in chapter 4, text 8, that so Krishna says to deliver the pious and annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. So he's very much dear to the devotees, and in these cases he also he reciprocates, and he appears, he delivers, his uplifts the devotees, and kills the demons. But so this is only one side of it. But if you look at the different side, actually, that everyone's getting a benefit in this case, devotees and the demons, right? Because as we see from the past time, King Gajendra is that Gajendra himself obtained the Swarupa Mukti, which basically obtained the same form as Lord Krishna, four-handed form, whereas the crocodile achieved the body of a Gandharva, right? So it's not at the same level, but still it's a better situation. So everyone gets a benefit when the Lord's involved. Either it kills, or either it gives a flower or helps someone. It's his activities are absolute, right? compared to what we do. You know, it's that we are in this world of duality, so we have this ability to do. So all actions are not absolute as compared to the world, and yeah. So I want to mention there's the in the text, I believe in text 36, Lord Shiva, Shukadeva Swami says that Lord Shiva saw. So because Lord Shiva also is so he's the greatest of the Vaishnavas, he saw that these living entities are suffering. So he said it's mentioned that he has a compassion towards them, and then there's. So I was trying to figure out what kind of compassion it is really, because we understand that the true compassion towards living entities is to give a knowledge in order for them to get out of this material situation, which is quite a bad place. As Prabhupada says, we have to try to make the best of our bad bargain, right? So I was trying to understand, is this compassion of Lord Shiva, is this something comes to just give a temporary relief, or is it some bigger plan of a permanent relief? So you have maybe any comments on those? Any idea? It says.
Wouldn't like to speculate too much. However, it says when he saw the living entities were very much disturbed by the poison, which was spreading everywhere, he was very compassionate. I'm not sure he was talking directly about the body, because the living entities were very disturbed by it. So generally, when we're disturbed, we can't focus, we can't do anything. So we can see this compassion as being compassion with someone's, more to do with how they could be, more stable, and then they can focus more on the real deal, the real McCoy.
Yeah, definitely. It's some of that. If obviously there's a lot of maybe material distress that also has to be removed to some degree in order to not be too disturbed by these material suffering. So in order to we can focus more on the Lord in devotional service. And as Prabhupada says in the purport later on, is that devotees and devotees Vaishnavas, they are para dukkha dukhi, or you can also say para sukha sukhi, right? That devotees are unhappy when they see everyone unhappy, and they are happy when they see everyone happy. So in the same way, we can see that Lord Shiva, because he's the greatest of Vaishnava, he was actually very smart, because he saw that Shri Shri Kodintai Mayapur Shashi Ki Jai. So Lord Shiva actually is very intelligent, because he saw that this opportunity, because he is a Vaishnava, he understands that in order to please Lord, you have to please someone who is dear to the Lord, right? So he saw these other devotees, and he was saying that he was like, I'm ready to drink poison just to please the Lord, And later on, as we're gonna go, when I cancel, yeah. So he gets permission from his consort. What was her name? Sati. Yeah. So. Yeah. So he gets the permission from Sati to drink this poison in order to relieve the stress from these living entities, and demigods and demons. Well, mostly demigods, and then in that way, actually, get attention of Lord Vishnu. And so there's also an interesting point that because Lord Shiva had to ask permission from Sati, it's I was thinking of this fact that when you're a brahmachari, traditionally you're serving a spiritual teacher, so you're traveling with the spiritual teacher, you're serving the spiritual teacher. But when you're in grihastha lifestyle, then your spiritual teacher is your wife. So you have to ask permission from well, in a sense, it's like wife is there to you give that purification there, because. So yeah, here you also see what Shiva is asking permission from the wife. It's like, can I drink this poison? And the wife also should be quite devoted in that sense, because in order to understand what Shiva wants to do, right? Because if you just go and ask, just theoretically, if you had a wife, you go ask if I can drink the poison or go do something crazy, then quite sure she wouldn't allow to do that. So yeah, and as further Prabhupada explains in the purport that in the material world, there's meant to be an animosity, so that we cannot escape, because the material is compared to the blazing forest fire. So naturally, these distresses take place, even if you don't want them to take place. And at the same time, after this distress and after this blazing fire, also happiness is going to come. So either we want or don't want, these things can come. So it's world of dualities is always changing. And I remember Prabhupada saying that because in this material world there's always some animosity going on, then this place is not for true, real ladies and gentlemen, because there's so many nasty things happening in the world, and one who is truly like a devotee, then this is not a place for them. So yeah, maybe this is a little bit about what Srila Prabhupada says in the purport. Maybe there's any comment or reflection or anything maybe you want to mention. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you very much. Nice class. And I was just reflecting on the Atmarama verse. Even though Krishna's self-satisfied, not the Atmarama verse, but Krishna's Atmarama, and he's self-satisfied, so he's not really looking for what we're actually offering. It's more the devotion that he's done with. But at the same time, Krishna becomes controlled by his pure devotees. Even though he is self-satisfied, when someone's so devoted, purely devoted to Krishna, then he becomes fully under their control, which is very, very merciful of them. So that was one reflection, and then I had a question, which was about happiness. So we're talking about this Paradukkha, and I was wondering, is happiness a goal of spiritual life, or is it like a side product? Because we also have this book, right, where Prabhupada chanting "Be happy." Prabhupada did give some instruction, right, to be happy. So I mean, is this something that we should aim for, or are we actually just we don't really have to cultivate it; it just comes naturally?
Yeah. So I can't remember the verse, but in Bhagavad Gita also said, maybe not in Bhagavad Gita, but it's explained also that we should kind of like avoid these like sort of downfalls and very highs that we have in our lives, distress or like a lot of happiness, material happiness, right? So we should kind of like be balanced in that way. So, and then when we are fixed, we are steady, and then we can tap into that, go from maybe sattva guna to Shuddha sattva, right? To to the transcendental goodness, and there we can actually explore the true happiness. Because so Prabhupada was saying also one time there was I believe it was like maybe Rath Yatra happening. There was some event happening, and and the devotee was saying, Prabhupada, you don't seem happy. Yeah, but I mean, it's like Prabhupada said, you don't know what real happiness is, right? So, because we're living in this material world, we are conditioned by so many things. We think that this is happiness or this is distress, but it's actually within the material world. It's all continuously be going through these dualities of being happy and being sad. So yeah, avoiding when being happy, we try to prepare ourselves to when the distress comes, and when naturally when we are distressed, we are praying for the shelter, praying, please relieve from this suffering situation. So naturally, at time we should become more fixed, and it's not that like we become like robots, although sometimes being a robot sometimes is nice. When Sheshku was saying that is when you go on the street, you have this, you touch your head and you feel this button, right? And then you make that switch, and then you become a robot. And then you go on the streets, and then and the idea is just that you just surrender to that service. You're not thinking about what everyone else is thinking about me, how do I look like, and things like that. You just kind of be surrender. But without another sense is that we shouldn't be robots in the sense that we don't have any emotions, because everything connected to Krishna is transcendental, right? So we should go from a mundane to transcendental in that sense, rather than being try to be materially happy. Try to transcend these material, mundane happiness and distress. Something like that. Is that? Yes, bro.
Oh. That's great. Yeah, thank you. There was I did hear once that was one instruction from Prabhupada that we should be happy, and also we should never look morose in front of the spiritual master.
Mm.
The spiritual master has given us so much, and then we're there like, looking very morose and like in front of the person who's given us everything. So
Yeah, yes. That's true. It's like we have to be enthusiastic, because oftentimes we might not even be, we might not be enthusiastic, but we should at least try. And so yeah, because but yeah, it's quite common, especially for myself. So like, you just wake up and you're not enthusiastic, at all. But just having that every day, just building the appreciation. You wake up and it's like, well, I've obtained the greatest fortune, that anyone can obtain, and when we wake up at that every day, it becomes more and more natural in a sense. So you can say fake it until you make it, but I don't quite like it, because it can also drag you to some other direction. You start, kind of like pretending you're happy or enthusiastic, but honestly you're very much suffering. You maybe need help, like spiritual guidance or something else. So yeah, but yeah, it's explained also that we materially, financially be satisfied, but we shouldn't endeavor too much. It should be too much, thinking about how to increase my improve my financial position, or how can I get a big house, nice car. These things just like they're not quite necessary for spiritual development, for the, going looking for the true happiness, right? Because when we reach that platform where we are, in a bodily sense, material, we are satisfied, then we are start looking for the true happiness. So yeah, we definitely have to be, that's why he says, first look after your health, your body, then your sadhana, and then service, right?
So wouldn't looking after our health mean looking after our happiness as well?
Yeah, in sense is this.
Mental health, physical health,
Yeah.
emotional health.
Yeah, definitely is also important part. That's it. I mean, that.
So would you say that someone has to become materially stable before they can practice spirituality?
Yeah, on some level, I guess it's because you can see on the street. Oftentimes, maybe some people come. They're a bit. I remember that there was one lady who was a bit intoxicated. She was saying her son passed away, and it was really hard to just give any spiritual knowledge at that point because she was just not in that place to accept. So you just give some prasadam, or maybe try her to chant Hare Krishna, and that might help. But yeah, so oftentimes people maybe are looking for the shelter, but they initially may need maybe some other kind of shelter, just like because we can maybe see for our own experience as well,
Yeah,
That
this is like the work of the devotee, especially the Majjhimadhikaris. He has to he has to see where people are at, and he has to engage with people according to time, place, and circumstance. Even Prabhupada would say sometimes just kirtan and prasad, no philosophy, because some people are just not ready. So as devotees and as preachers, those that are on the street, they have to develop this vision, this discrimination. It's very important.
yeah,
We
yeah,
just
yeah.
pray that we'll develop it soon.
Initially, we definitely have this maybe mundane morality, kind of this looked at it's all love, let's just help everyone, open door policy. But you have to be quite careful because also people might have maybe wrong intentions. They might be saying something, but if you have that vision as a Madhyama Adhikari, then you can kind of like tell right away, this person not clear here. It's not. There's some motive there, and then yeah. So the best way is obviously to take examples of the senior Vaishnavas, how they approach these things, and what to do in these situations. And then naturally, as we go on more on streets, we practice, we work on a sadhana, and then sooner or later, by the blessing of Vaishnavas and Krishna, we may also have this vision of Madhyamadakari.
And also, like, you're talking about the open door policy. Is something that we don't have these days in ISKCON. We're very much like, we have to follow some policies, some rules and regulations. But in the old days, in the 70s, it was pretty much open doors. Prabhupada was even saying, just give me all of your criminals and we'll rehabilitate them. We'll turn them into devotees and they'll be perfect citizens.
Yeah.
So it's a gulf of difference between what it was then and what it is now. We can see from the presence and the influence of a pure devotee, Shakti Vaishnava like Prabhupada, that these things were possible. He's still present now. We just we have to connect.
Yeah, so I mean, certainly everything at the moment also is empowered by Prabhupada. It's like, there's so many, like even just here, so many buildings and projects going on, and even if you take all the temples around the world, there's so many things going on. It's all by the mercy of Prabhupada, and it's still empowering everyone. But having his personal presence obviously can be a different experience because he had a purity that he can just turn everyone to Krishna consciousness. Because you can see in all of this story of when before Prabhupada left to America, he was going to, was it Radha Damodar temple? So he was praying, praying very hard so he can execute the order of his spiritual master. And I believe the Pujari, he saw this old gentleman coming every day and in deep meditation. So he asked, who you are, what are you meditating on? And so Prabhupada saying that, he's praying that he can, his Guru Maharaj gave him impossible mission, so he's praying so he can execute it. And later on, when Prabhupada went to America, there was some disciples went, they were in India, they were doing some Harinam, and they went to this Radhamodar temple, and this Pujari was wondering, like, who are these Westerners, wearing shikas and dhotis and with tilak, So he asked, who you are, and they explained that they are the disciples of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So initially he didn't recognize the name, but then the devotees, they showed the picture of Prabhupada, and then the Pujari was like, oh, it's Abhay Babu, it's Abhay Babu, he did it. He did it. So Prabhupada was definitely empowered, and we should pray to Prabhupada also that he can to Krishna also empower us to keep going in this preaching mission. Distribute his books and get more members and make devotees, and keep the mission going. Jai.
Jai.
Kantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Shri Prabhupada ki
Jai. Bhakta Prabhu ki.
Ishan Prabhu ki Jai.